Hello, this is my second video and my reflective tech demo of my rig. So the first point is the application of research and resources. I used several different sources for making my rig. The first source was the slides and PowerPoints and documents found in our course details, just to basically learn how to place bones, what IK and FK are, and how to basically make a spine and a rogue. But I then used several other videos from YouTube and other sources. The main one was the VDS tutorial video channel, which went through making an entire rig. I used mainly all the things in that video, as well as adding some of my own, like the body tilts and head twists and turns, the anti-mage's cloth, because that was one of the major problems with the actual character when skinning it. And it's in debate whether we should do the blue and red bones for the legs, but I believe that this base and the controls I have are all you would really need to animate him, because even with the knee swivel, you're not going to do much else with the leg. There's not really much else you can do with a leg. Let's transform that back to 0. Next, we'll talk about the bipedal anatomy. It's a very simple body structure. Two bones for the arm with a wrist nub. 2 bones for the leg, because there's not much change in that. I went for a single toe stub because when he's skinned, I'll just pull that up. I need to select him first. He's wearing kind of like, it's either like sock or armor, so I don't really think he'd be having too much differential movement between the 2 toes. So I think they'd move together, because his clothing could be very restrictive. The bone systems I have in place, they're very simple to use. If you just go into any of them, I've got controllers, so you don't have to go to any of the bones, where you can just control the clavicle, the arm. For things that don't move in the other axes, I've made it so that the ring only goes in the direction it will go, so it doesn't go into any of the other directions. Same for the cloth. Also named everything with an anti-mage prefix, so it shows that this rig is for the anti-mage and you don't get it mixed up with like a zombie or a human or a spider. I've also named all the controllers, and they are in the controllers layer, so you can just hide the controllers. We've also got the bones, so you can just have the controllers. Got the mesh, got the helpers, so you don't want all these lines everywhere, especially even if there are tiny ones like these in the shoulders. And this, I believe this is a very simple rig for an animator to have, especially if you go into the controllers. I've named everything very simply, especially with naming the attribute for what they are. So their head and neck controls the head and the body, so those are the controls for that. I've also clearly named out what they do, so their head tilt BNF, which would be back and forward, it goes back and forward on his head. Tilt left and right, it goes left and right. And the twist, so he turns his head. The same for the bodies. I kept with this for the rest of the controls. So left arm controls different things in that. Right arm controls, if I can select. Then we have the left thumb controls, left finger controls, and it's just like all the fingers, so you can change how far they go. So following both of the points, this is very easy to follow automation and very appropriate. So this the controls that control the arm don't control the fingers. Those are separate, so you don't have to do it all in one thing. And it's very understandable. I didn't want to use the sliders because I felt that might clutter it up, and it's simple enough just to use these. I didn't need to add too much else to the rig because, well, for the skin, the actual texture he has no hair or anything like that, so I didn't need anything there. The only thing I needed to add was these little tongues or fangs for his cloth, because when skinning that causes a lot of problems, mainly when you move his leg up and down. Skinning this became very troublesome, so I felt that this was a much simpler way of affecting the cloth. You can also, if you didn't want it to move with the leg, you can just move it independently. So if there's like wind or something, you can just move these independently of the leg. This also makes it look a lot better. So if you just set these to 10, it's a lot more straight than what it would have been with the legs. Put those back to 0 and set this back to 0. So in conclusion, this rig, it's I would say it's very simple. It took a while to make. I've looked at other rigs, and that's what I went for with the legs, because I saw many people did not have the red and blue IKFK bones. They simply went with these point helpers and controllers, because in my view, I follow with them as well, because this just seems a lot easier and it doesn't create as much clutter, and you can just use the controls, and it just seems much more simpler in my idea. There's not much I think I could improve on this, in my opinion. There could be a few more automations I could set up with more turns and twists, but what I've set out, I think you can do the majority of what you wanted to do with this. I've especially made it easy for walking cycles if you wanted to animate those, as well as moving the hands. So that is my rig in its entirety. Thank you for watching.